still on an upward slope associated. Anyway, that's where I'm at, and we'll have something for the finance team meeting on Friday, and then I'll have a handout for the board, meeting on the 6th, on the 30th at 6 o'clock. And I'll be making that presentation. So if you have any other thoughts of things, that, people that you've talked to, constituents that have raised concerns that may not have been answered in that presentation, please feel free to give me a call and we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. I think it's important to take the approach of have the presentation answer as many questions, and that makes for less.
Can I just make a comment? The most frequent comment that I've been hearing over the last few weeks from people is in relation to the school department, and the impression that they're top-heavy with administration, which really isn't true. But it's pretty difficult to dispel that if the school administration doesn't lay out what they have. I mean, we don't have assistant superintendents like every other school system around here. We don't have a whole host of other things, and there's a lot of other administration there that they haven't filled the positions for quite a while.
I see two areas that that have to be defended, that might come from questions. One has to be clearly defended by the school committee. I mean, why do we have to defend, questions about administration and what they're doing? I think they need to be prepared to answer that.
So I'm just saying, this is what I've been hearing primarily comments.
On the other hand, we have to be prepared to answer the questions associated with the transcript article that showed the salaries of the top 50 earners. Because some people look at it and saying, well, just cut out the overtime without fully understanding why it's there, what drives it. So we need to be prepared to have answers to that. But, someone called me today and said, do you know that evidently there was I'm not sure where, one of the schools, I don't know, it was the middle school, the principal was on maternity leave, so they have the principal. The person has come back, and someone said, but they decided to keep the other person on for the balance of the year. And someone says, well, where'd they get the money for that? Now, I don't know all the facts, so I haven't had the chance to ask the questions, and it may very well be that that's not the case, or there's a legitimate reason, but, these are the kinds of things that people bring up, and as far as I'm concerned, the school department has to defend that issue, if it is an issue, or clarify what the facts really are. But, there's a lot of people that are feeling the pain, and at the town meeting, there was a reporter from public radio, BUR, and interviewed a bunch of people at the end, and then that's been on the radio a few times. And I had an opportunity to speak, and a number of people did, but there was, they went up to the community center, elderly, and they got a totally different earful associated with this override. So, there's a lot of different opinions coming from different people. But, this is not going to be, in my opinion, not going to be an easy override. So to begin with, So I think it's the board's job to provide to the community as much information as available, as factual and as simple to understand as possible, so that the voters at least can make a decision. We can have different positions on what we believe, but I think our true responsibility is to get the information out. So that's it on the presentation. Unless anyone else has comments. Town administrators report.
Evening. Just,
Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you. Excuse me. Can I back up a second? I do have a comment. I have a comment. My problem, I think your presentation was well-rounded and fair. It was a good presentation at the public meeting. I'm not totally sure, but about, you know, I'd like to see my objection, you know, I'd like to see my objection made known at the town meeting as well, and whether I do it through, you know, my comment when it's time to comment or what, but my objection still is that I don't believe the revenues are adequately portrayed here, for a 3-year old. And I don't think that anyone's made a mistake. I don't think that the town administrator has done a wonderful job, the staff has done a wonderful job, you've done a wonderful job, the finance committee's done a wonderful job. I just think that the context is conservative and it's not truly reflective of it. So, and I think that's really a significant fly in the ointment, is that whether or not revenues are reasonably projected. And not to betray that, I think, I don't know, I've got some problems with that. So I just kind of want to raise that for your thought, hear what you've got to think about that.
Well, you know, I have two thoughts on it. One is that I don't think it's a good idea to be, I think you need to be somewhat conservative in your estimates. One is that it does generate free cash. And like it or not, we need to have free cash for our capital programs. And if you go back in the past couple of years and we've generated some free cash, we had a year where we had negative free cash and 2 years of positive free cash. That free cash went like this, to deal with budget-related issues that were either in the unforeseen, like the energy bump that we got a year ago, or whether it's got to do with retirement issues or things that come up that we didn't properly plan for. Or either we didn't plan for it or it was just not on anybody's radar screen. So if we were accumulating free cash, by the way, we had to put a bunch of free cash back into stabilization because we were robbing stabilization over a period of time. And it got us to the point where our bond rating was ready to go down. So I think from a financial management point of view, one needs to have that kind of an outlook. And then the second thing, as I said to you before, I said one of the key positives of putting a 3-year plan together and signing a document, school board, finance committee, board of selectmen saying, this is our budget plan for the next 3 years. This is what we're committed to. Okay, we underestimated, we underestimated our revenue, right, for next year. So we get up and we say, this is what we need to spend in 2009. And where was that money come from? Well, gee, we've got extra revenue. We can take some of that free cash because we were way off, and we apply it to the budget. Or we put it away somewhere, but we do something with it that's positive. So we don't have to raise the tax to that level that we set for 2009. Keep in mind that the levy limit's been raised even above that. Right. So we don't spend the money. We've made a commitment to the community that we're not going to spend it. So the fact that we underestimated the revenue, at least from the way I'm looking at it, is not going to impact the taxpayer. What impacts the taxpayer is what we decide to spend. And with a 3-year plan and a commitment to stick to it, right, then I think we're presenting to the taxpayer. Now, I agree that it's a trustee issue.
It's a trust issue, and we're generating free cash, which we're not promising that we will adequately handle. We're not promising how we will deal with free cash. We can generate, who knows how much free cash we generate. We're not saying what we're going to do with that. We're not saying how we're going to handle that.
I think we are, to some degree. We've got a budget. We're saying we're going to stick to this budget.
You're saying we're sticking to the budget, but it's not necessarily saying that we're going to take any free cash and apply that against the next year budget to limit the levy on that next year. I have a real problem with the whole thing.
Well, you know, as an individual member of the board or an individual citizen, you certainly can get up and speak your piece. Right? We have I think we still have a majority of the board in support of the 3-year plan. It was 3-2 last count. What? Okay. Can we let Greg move on here?
Sure.
Ready,
Yeah,
sir.
we gonna talk about the petition that we have before us?
Yes, I thought I would just wait
Yeah.
till,
Oh, okay.
that, we can say, at least we give them all the time in the world. Great.
Just, I've got a couple of things to report, and there's a few things that aren't on the list, and I'll go through them quickly. First bit of good news is you received a copy of a letter that's from the Executive Office of Environmental Affairs, and the letter states that the Executive Office has reviewed and approved the open space and recreation plan. This was the same plan that was presented at the Board of Selectmen's meeting several weeks back, and the approval extends until April of 2012. And as a result of that approval, North Reading is eligible for grant programs offered by the State Division of Conservation Services, and those grants are primarily for the purposes of offsetting the cost of land acquisition for open space and or recreational purposes. To apply for those grants, you need to have an approved plan, and I want to congratulate and thank the Recreation Department, the Community Planning Commission, and the Conservation Commission. All the work was done by the consultant who put the plan together. A lot of the information was pulled together on the staff level. It's notable to recognize their achievements. That's some good news. Start very good. As Mr. Dardino had brought up earlier, and I had put in my report a copy of the town's revenue report for the period ending on March 31st. The report indicates that our local receipt collection, which is a component of our revenues, is consistent with our revenue projections for the year ending on June 30th, fiscal year 2007. Motor vehicle excise tax collections, which are the biggest component of local receipts, are at 80% as of the end of March. You'll recall the last time the February report was presented, we're at 23%. In speaking with the finance director, he believes that the overall receipts will remain strong to the end of the fiscal year, and that surplus funds, as have been mentioned, will translate into free cash for the October town meeting. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but we did substantially increase local receipts for next fiscal year. And we did it in a couple of ways. One of the things we did was we accounted for the buried revenues, which turned out to be an incorrect assumption. We had to go back and take that money back out. But as a result of taking that money out, we had to increase items such as our investment income. And we had to make some other changes in local estimated receipts above what we were originally comfortable in doing. We did that because it was really the only way that we could achieve a balanced budget within the total monies that we had available. So I'm comfortable with what we have going forward for next year, and I'm hesitant about increasing those numbers much above where they are right now. So it's just an informational purpose on the receipts.
Greg, I think that, Bill has said a couple of times
Yeah.
that he wasn't so much concerned with the estimates for what, 2000.
No, next year, I'm not against
Year after, it was that rolling it forward by
Yeah.
percentage,
Yeah.
right? And his feelings were that was taking a very conservative approach. So
Yeah.
that's, so he was,
And it
he
is.
was not raising an issue
No,
on
it is.
2000.
It is. I mean, the alternative is we get burned. Certainly don't want to be there.
You know what, if I may, Mr. Chairman, I really mean what I say when I say I'm not criticizing my calculations, I'm not criticizing anything we've done. I'm saying by its nature, I understand the conservative nature of it, but that is enough. The numbers are off, and I can't support it. I certainly don't think you've done anything wrong, but I think in 2 and 3, year 1, I think the numbers are relatively relatively close to historic increases, but 2 and 3 are not. It's just a natural extension. I always say in my business, I say that if you're on the ground and you're going to the moon and you're off by an inch, by the time you get to the moon, you're off by 100,000 miles. Okay, and that's the analysis.
Okay, let's move on.
Just update in your packet, you received a notice of a Chapter 258 claim, and that's tort claims alleging the town wrongful act, and that was filed by an attorney on behalf of the gentleman in the Batia Panda. Just for informational purposes, the claim is not a lawsuit.